So before we move on to voiceover Abby, and this is probably the first time I'm showing you what my media journal looks like, I thought I would walk you through the basic tools that I use regularly for this particular journal. So first things first is this printer. This is a Xiaomi Mijia printer. It prints with zinc ink, and this is the film included. It actually comes in a box of 50, and I'm on my last pack rather, of 10 sheets. It has 10 sheets per pack, and it's 2 by 3 inches. And for me, it's the perfect size for my posters when I print out my movie posters. So in conjunction to that, this is my Hobonichi Camp cover, which I got for 2021 originally, but I felt really sad that I didn't use it as much. You know, it was just mostly at home, and so I was like, you know, I kind of want to give it a new life. And so I bought a Hobonichi plain notebook in A6, which doesn't have any dates. It's just a plain grid notebook, and this has been my media journal since sometime in January, I think. I just started it this year. It was a last minute addition to my 2022 lineup. So it's nice and small. It's A6 size for scale. I have a pocket here with film stickers, although sometimes I do forget to put this in, as well as, oh, this is the zinc sticker paper, as well as this tools and toys ruler, because I wanted to use the star for rating purposes. So I didn't put the front flap here. I don't know, it's just a preference thing. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. But here is a little peek inside my media journal. So on the first back page, I have a running directory of the inks I've used for specific shows, for specific movies and books, because I try a lot of inks. And actually, one of the reasons I wanted to get into journaling like this is so I can write, because I love to write. The second one is so I can use different fountain pen inks and see how they behave on paper. So in some way, I'm kind of doing my research. I'm not going through every single thing that I've watched, but I wanted to show you like the general format. I try to not go over maybe like 4 or 5 pages depending on the show. I also don't want to show you everything because you might be watching and don't want to spoil anything. But generally, I try to print pictures. So this is a sample of the printer, and also like keep some quotes, some really important things that I personally enjoyed from watching. I feel like I actually didn't start watching series until late in life. Like, I was already working when I started watching TV and like getting into series and shows and movies. I was not into that kind of thing growing up. So it has been really interesting for me to see how watching and consuming media really affects my way of thinking, how it inspires me. And personally, part of me really just watches for the visuals and the writing and all these things. So I do watch a lot of different genres, as you can see here. I also have some unfinished pages. Actually, I think the intern one is not yet done, so I bookmarked it for now. But generally, this is what it looks like, and we'll go through that hopefully when I'm halfway into this media journal. But generally, I like to put in the poster of the TV series, the book, or the film. And then I really like picking out some quotes, because obviously I love quotes and I love lettering, and these are two things that I always try to incorporate into my work. And then I also add in the genre, who created the series or the media or whatever book, author, starring. I haven't written my rating. I actually use I find it. I actually use the Zig Clean Color Dot to draw my stars, color my stars using this one. So you see that in a bit when we do Turning Red. And then I like to write not as a critic, but also like my interpretation and how I understood the particular show. And then for me, it's also a way to sort of navigate towards my own experience and how I resonate with what I watched. Sometimes it boils down to that. And for this one, I just wanted to write the really long speech that was written for Fleabag. If you haven't watched Fleabag, please watch it. It's really great. This is an example of a book review. So for books, I don't write as long. I'm not very good at doing book reviews in general. I think that's kind of my weak point, which is why I also started doing this. But as you can see, I also tried to match the inks with the show. This is something I just like doing for color theory purposes and visual exercises. My favorite would be from the Fantastic Mr. Fox, this one, because it's all in the shades that I love. And I really wrote a long review on this because it's a really great film. I think the next film that I will work on, will be that's similar to this one, would be Zootopia, because I really enjoyed that and I just recently watched it. There's no page number, so I think that's a bit tricky, but what I plan to do is maybe when I'm halfway, I will write like the running list here. That's why I kept this page empty. So yeah, we're going to start off with Turning Red because I watched it maybe 2-3 weeks ago, a few days after it came out. So I also don't have a pencil board, but this is something I just basically forgot. Anyway, it doesn't really bother me. And we're going to be using the Kaweco Sport Dark Olive in this, currently inked with Kaweco Sunrise Orange. And I was looking at my stash. It's either this one or the Pilot Tsukushi, or maybe I could use both. So Pilot Tsukushi is loaded here in my Pilot Custom 823, which you've always probably have seen in my previous videos. So we'll start off by loading the film in. Wow. I actually use this sparingly. I guess it depends on what I want to print out, but usually when I print media, this is the one that I use because I tried going to the drugstore and printing photos there. However, the photo paper is just too thick for this journal, and remember, you know, Hobonichi uses Tomoe River paper. It's kind of thin and delicate. It just doesn't work as well. So this printer is very simple, very straightforward. You just pull it out like this, and then I have to put in the orange flap, as you can see there, so that it matches. So I honestly keep, okay, there, this side down. Okay, just seal it shut. And then I have to connect it to my phone. So what you want to do is you look for the movie poster on Google. Of course, I saved the Turning Red one, and then you just click on print preview and then you print. So usually you can edit certain features, but personally I don't do anything for movie posters. I just click the print button and then it just transfers here. Cool. So this is the final print, and then because I'm extra and I really wanted to write something else about Turning Red, I'm going to use the photo collage function, and with that you can actually pull out photos that you want to add. So I'm thinking if I wanna, maybe I'll add the 𝚘𝚘𝚒𝚗𝚒𝚗𝚒. Not sure if it crops everyone though. Maybe we'll try another one. So I like to create collages like this, so it kind of shows like a screen cap of some scenes from the film. So let's print that out. So this is the final print. And now I'm gonna turn you over to VoiceOver Abby so that we can start journaling. So we're going to start off by getting the food washi tape. This is the Cook and Eat washi tape that I designed last year. I felt it was so apt because I really like the porridge that May's mom made for her. And I didn't really want to add in too much, decorative elements, especially with stationery. That's what I tried to lessen in terms of this particular journal because I write a lot. So I just decided to put the two stickers on like the left side and the right side so that the extra spaces will be where I write the specific information. So usually when it's a film, I have the film title, genre, rating, who created it or directed it, starring, date of release, and network. Like, Turning Red was released in Disney Plus. Shout out to my good friend Ellen for letting me access Disney Plus and watching this. It was so fun. Watching this, I just came from a really bad series of days, and then watching this was like a really like warm, fuzzy feelings all around kind of situation. It was so funny as well. So I'm gonna read you some of the things that I wrote in my review. So, Turning Red focuses on Mei Lee, a 13-year-old girl. By the way, no spoilers. Torn between her daughter duties as an Asian living in Toronto and the crazy roller coaster that is her teenage life. Now, this was set in 2002. At the time, I was almost a teenager, so I kind of related to this whole scenario of like liking boys, being so obsessed with boy bands. I am a self-confessed four-townie. Also, I have a huge crush on Jordan Fisher, so it's a win-win kind of thing. And I think, there's just so much to love about this film, and it's so refreshing to see a character who embraces her dorky side so much. Imagine watching this at 13. I think I would feel less alone, because I always grew up feeling like, I didn't fit in. I would say I was also like in the dorky side. I'm also like Chinese, pure Chinese, so I kind of understood a lot of the references that were played around and shown in the film, even like the temples and the chants and everything. I actually am familiar with them, so it feels so nice to see that represented on screen. And actually, the bottom line of this is the film was just so funny. There were so many like LOL moments that I really, really enjoyed because I haven't laughed that much in a Disney film. It's always like a cry fest. I watched Luca and cried my heart out. Soul as well, and Kanto was another one. And this one was just so nice and refreshing. Of course, it also made me cry, but we also like the fun parts of it. Lastly, I am adding in my rating. So I'm giving it a 4-star rating because it's absolutely wonderful. You have to go ahead and watch Turning Red. So this is the final spread. I kept it simple this time. One thing I also want to note is when I started the journal, I thought I would write really long summaries or overviews of things. And then the more I kept doing this, I was like, wait, I think having 2 pages is actually pretty much enough because I don't really want to spoil stuff. At the same time, I just wanted to really point out key things that I really liked from the film. So this is an example of that. And also, it depends on the show. For example, if I'm watching Mad Men, where there's a big deep dive into the 1960s and historical stuff, I usually write really long form. But this one is a really nice light film, and I really, really appreciated how Turning Red really showcased what growing up as an Asian is, because I'm Chinese and I can really resonate with a lot of things, especially the traditions and everything. So yeah, this is the final spread. I also didn't have, Chinese or cute stickers, so I just decided to doodle over them, and then I used the dot part of the Zig Clean Color Dot to, dot over it and create design. So this is an example of my spread. If you want to see more of my media journal and peeks into my process, I highly suggest checking out my Patreon because that's where I share a lot of exclusive stuff for as little as $1. You can get access to a lot of exclusive news and updates from yours truly. I do hope you enjoyed this media journal with me video. I will probably make more. Let me know what you want to see. I'm probably planning to do media journal with me and then a specific show so we can talk about it in the comments. For example, maybe a Disney Channel themed page because I've been watching Disney Plus extensively the past few weeks. Also, maybe something like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because I haven't really journaled about that yet. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed journaling with me today, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!